Life's a posh wank. Wrapped in a thin layer of protection, we chase idealized versions of ourselves. Fueled by delusion, we spare no expense to beat and chalk our demon. But on arrival, we fade from sword-wielding warriors to faded reflections of our former selves. Humbled by our own absurdities as we stare into a spunk-filled Savoy skin, questioning everything. Back in the summer of '88, I preferred barebacking my spank rags. Fast forward 37 years, and here we are, flicking through a splash-proof digitised version together. So imagine when I spotted this top shelf filth on the kids' shelf, 45 pence, but it's got all the bells and whistles. I wouldn't be seen dead in a Tiffany badge, but the pages of that Bros special were destined to be paper mache. Brother Beyond, half boy band, half gastric band. From certain angles, they could pass as ping-pong puppets, but they were actually a real band. It just wasn't doing the numbers, and tired of being struggling musicians, they shook hands with Satan's trouser snake, signing with Stock Aitken and Waterman. They're about to have 2 top 10 hits, overnight success, then disappear into obscurity. Frontman Nathan will be back in 2001 when he's caught asking an undercover female police officer for a little suck as part of a sting on Dirty Bastards. His boyfriend of 13 years insisted that there must be some mistake. That's Teresa Bizarre, from a now reformed Dollar. Gone are the days of Trevor Horn's innovative artistry. Their first 2 comeback singles have bombed, but they recently scored a number 7 with a random cover of Erasure's All or More. She talks about her property portfolio, money and travel to keep up appearances, but she knows it's over. This new song's their last, and she's about to flee down under, the furthest geographical point on planet Earth from Dick Van Dyke. There's a lot to take in here, but in a nutshell, for you indie kids, we get the gossip on U2's upcoming movie, Rattle and Hum, a beautifully shot documentation of this period of frontman Paul Hewson, more commonly known as Arsehole. Still dripping in the sanctimonious fragrance of Live Aid, the insufferable peacock struts around the States in a cowboy hat, backsplashed by his own verbal jizz. We see him morphing into his close friend, Michael Hutchins. The 90s see them extract directly from INXS's musical DNA to go with their new look, to the point where Hutchins is warned by his management to stop discussing creative plans with his Irish mini-me. We've got a full-page tribute to the greatness of Shakin, his love for sport, fashion and shit Elvis impersonations, even getting his own computer game on the mighty Spectrum 48K. No real skill to it. You just had to bash the buttons and wiggle the joystick as fast as possible to snap Richard Madeley's neck. Glenn Medeiros, this little Hawaiian hottie, got sick of the top dogs trying to hang out the back of him. He couldn't write music, leaving him vulnerable to industry bum vultures. He claims to have escaped the birds of prey, but rumoured to have had a cockatoo. He went back to education and now a head teacher, recently accused of poor leadership and nepotism for letting his wife set up a nail bar in the school. And here comes the filler to flesh out the content. Now that's what I call music, the holy grail of pop sludge. The Style Council, Natalie Cole, more badges. Def Leppard, pushing the board out with a full-colour page, only 3 years after drummer Rick Allen's arm was torn off in a car accident. Luckily, he never played on any of the albums anyway, and with the support of the band, he continued beating the odds, his drums, and his wife. George Michael, the Mac Band, not to be mistaken with the Mac Lads, Eighth Wonder, the band that got Patsy Kensit discovered by the big screen. A 3-page feature. Someone in the office must have been getting their back scratched. The headline says it all. An honorary member of the Cock and Ball Hall of Fame, with trophies including Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet, Nick Hayward from Haircut 100, John Taylor from Duran Duran, Dan Donovan from Big Audio Dynamite, Eric Clapton, Jim Kerr from Simple Minds, Liam Gallagher. And that's before she gets started on the footballers in the mid-90s. More ads, and a poster of Medeiros in double leather, looking petrified. A full page for major disappointment Glenn Goldsmith, who turned out not to be the British Michael Jackson that we were promised, but did go on to write Mysterious Girl for Peter Andre. The onslaught of mag spam continues amidst gossip, fan clubs and competition winners. Michael Jackson double-page feature. The King of Pop's coming to the UK for his first ever solo tour, but still getting less coverage than Patsy Kensit. He's travelling the world with his best mate, 10-year-old Jimmy Safechuck. After months of grooming the boy and his family, this tour is when he gets the child alone, leaving him in his hotel room during shows, with a do not disturb sign on the door and bin bags covering the windows. People were so concerned that a note was passed to the child, asking him if he was being held against his will. Disposable cameras and debit cards, what a time to be alive. A Smash Hits t-shirt modelled by kids' favourite Philip Schofield. A cleverly positioned speech bubble to cover the intern bum gravy around his zip. More ads selling us the dream, spot-free faces and expensive brands. We could look like Clark from Johnny Hates Jazz, or maybe no. But there it is, the 8-page special. I gently prised those staples open, carefully sliding my fingers between Chris Tennant's cycling shorts and Craig Logan's stonewashed denim, separating the Pet Shop Boys from the men. Too much chat for my liking. A couple of young journos have been thrown on and under the bus for 3 shows. Tom Watkins is giving them access all areas in return for some fake news. The first 2 pages are littered with propaganda, painting a picture of up-and-coming artists on a creative journey. They keep telling us that Luke and Craig play live, but fail to add that their volumes are set to 0. They pretend to have fun together. Look how cool it is being in Bros. Craig's already making plans to fuck these airheads off. And the journalists spend 3 long days pulling teeth, desperately hoping for a few cool quotes from the lads to fill the 8-page special. The centerfold reminds us why we're here though. Forget the grubby backstory, songs of gay exploitation, and just enjoy the view for a second. Not everything needs to be complicated. Surrey's premier power pop trio. Big Tom's Jimmy Dean fantasy. 3 submissive show ponies doing tricks for sugar cubes. By the time they bought his stable in the early 90s, they'll be forced to sell everything and run to America to escape the British press. Since climax is the highest point, it's a slippery slide from here. Slowly realising that we've been sold a catalogue of advertising space disguised as a bumper pop bonanza. Mugged off, but it's alright. It accidentally fell into my shell suit top as I was tying my shoelace, got stuck right under my armpit.
Yes?
10p mix-up, please. Actually, make that 2. And an on Bongo. Peace and love.